Stay classy, Golden Eagles. So the previous lesson, part 1, this is part 2, talked about our learning target as being I will be able to separate angles to determine an angle's measure. And we're going to continue that. We're just going to throw in one variable. This, as previously when we were joining angles, is going to add in one extra variable, okay? So a key thing here, guys, before we get started, I want to read the directions, and you should read the directions yourself too, because I might miss something, and also you might forget something between watching this video and doing the activity. So separating more than two angles. In the angles below, you must first add the two known smaller angles. So we're going to add these two smaller angles to the known, add up the two known smaller angles. Then you're going to subtract the measure from the known combined angle to determine the unknown angle. So what they're saying is we're going to add these two up. Then we are going to add up the total of all the way around the dotted line and subtract our two known parts. Now, you notice, ladies and gentlemen, it does not say it on here. You have to find it in the PDF for page 17. So we're going to use the same number that they give you. The combined measure of each angle below, so 27 plus b plus 17, is going to equal 120 degrees. So if we know one small, two smalls, the whole thing, we can subtract these two from 120 and get the answer for B. So first things first, let's add up 27 and 17. Oh, plus. I got ahead of myself. 7 plus 7 is 14. Add a 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So the total of our inside small parts is 44 degrees. Now, if the whole thing from this point to this point to this point is 120 degrees, we can find out the missing part by subtracting what we know. In this case, that's 44. So we're going to subtract 120, which is the measure of all of the dotted line. We're going to subtract the added total of our two known parts, and we'll find out our unknown. All right? So we're going to have to do quite a bit of borrowing here. Let's just start here. Borrowing from the 1 gives us a 1. Borrowing from the 2 gives us a 1. 0 turns to a 10. 4 minus 10 is 6. We can't do 4 from 1, so we have to borrow again. Turn that to a 0. Turn the 1 into an 11. 4 minus 11 is 7. And we could bring down our 0, but we don't necessarily need to. So B in this situation equals 76 degrees. All right, let's try it with a different point. Now, guys, it's a little tough to see it over here, but I'll show you here in a little bit. So it's the same thing as we did before, but this time we have a different combined measurement. We have a different combined amount of the dotted line. In this case, it's going to be 180 degrees. All right? So we have three pieces. We have the 70, we have J, we have 27. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up the two knowns, and then we're going to take that total and we're going to subtract it from the 180, because the 180 is from this arrow here straight across to here, or it's known as this dotted line that we have here. So let's add up 70 plus 27. 7 plus 0 is 7. 7 plus 2 is 9. So we have the total of this and this equals 97. Now we know that J plus 27 plus 70 is going to equal 180, because that's what the directions told us, and that's what I talked to you about in the previous video. A straight line's measure should be always 180 degrees, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and take our 97, and we're going to subtract it, I'll do it down here, from 180. So 180 minus our 97, remember we got that from adding our two knowns. We're going to have to do some borrowing again, because 7 can't be taken away from 0. Borrow from the 8, turn it to a 7, make this into a 10. 7 minus 10 is 3. I'm going to have to borrow again because I have a larger number on the bottom than on the top. So borrow from the 1, turn it to a 0, turn the 7 into a 17. And 9 from 17 is going to be 8. And then we have a 0. You could bring it down, but I'm not going to. So our answer for J is 83 83 degrees. All right? So that is the lesson for separating more than two angles. Separating, pulling apart, subtracting. Joining was adding together. All right? Make sure you read the directions because it's going to give you the combined total. Give you the combined total of everything. In this case, it was 180. Up here is 120 before we started borrowing from it. So you got to make sure you read the directions. If you have any questions, email Mr. Ferguson or Mr. Holt or leave comments below the videos. As always, stay classy, Golden Eagles.